Welcome, everybody. This is the first of a series on the emotional toolkit for health transformation. Basically, we want to help master emotions to achieve lasting well-being. Today, we will be revealing the unseen forces that sabotage weight loss. Who is this webinar for? It's for that person that knows what to do, but has a hard time actually doing it. Or for that person that's beating themselves up because they know better, okay, but they're not doing better. It's for that person that's losing hope that achieving their weight loss goals is even possible. Or someone that's feeling like they're broken or like something's wrong with them. Why can't they do this? And for the person that's feeling frustrated about the lack of consistency in their results. If you resonate with any of these things, then you are in the right place. Today, we're going to be talking about the unseen forces that sabotage weight loss. And so we're going to begin our party by dissecting the anatomy of being stuck. And then we're going to identify those subconscious saboteurs that keep us from achieving our goals. We're going to learn how to release guilt and shame, and we're going to outline how we can learn from our mistakes instead of beating ourselves up. So I wonder if you can resonate with this image. You're staring at the bottom of an empty ice cream carton. What pops into your head? These are some of the thoughts that have popped into mine. I did it again. I know better. Why did I do that? I'm such a failure. I'll never get this under control. Why do I even bother? My name is Donnie Alvarenga, and I know what it's like to feel stuck. I was put on my first diet when I was 8 years old, and so I feel like I know what is necessary to be done to achieve a healthy weight. I grew up, I became a pediatric nurse practitioner, and I ran a weight management program for kids. And the picture that you see there on the left is after I ran that weight management program. So not only did I know from a personal standpoint, but I also knew from a professional standpoint, and I still struggled. I have been a health coach for the past 13 years, and I have helped hundreds of people lose weight. And I contend every single day. And so those thoughts that I shared earlier, they have crossed my mind. And as I've talked to hundreds of people as well, I hear that it crosses their mind too. And what I've learned is that those thoughts keep us stuck. Okay. So this is what happens. This is what happens when we feel stuck. Basically, we realize we're not happy with where we're at. We realize that we would like to lose some weight. We're not happy with the way our clothes are fitting us, something along those lines, right? So we decide to change it. We decide we're going to lose weight. We commit to doing that thing that we know. And then something happens and we get sidetracked and we don't follow through on that plan. Then we beat ourselves up because we had a plan and we knew what to do, but we didn't do what we knew. So then we start beating ourselves up or feeling guilty or having any of those thoughts that I shared earlier, which makes us feel stressed and feel guilty, which leads us to do emotional eating and even consider quitting. And if we're strong enough and we don't quit, we eventually start the cycle over again where we realize, but I'm not happy where I'm at. And we decide, okay, we're going to change it. I'm going to start again tomorrow. Then we commit to what we know, and then we get sidetracked. And if you have ever experienced the cycle, type a 3 into the chat because you are not alone. This is the thing though, you can't hate yourself healthy. Imagine, I don't know if you have any children, but imagine teaching a child to walk, right? It's so exciting when they stand up and they take those first steps. And I love this picture because you can see that dad in the background. He is so proud of this little girl, right? And when that little girl falls, which she inevitably will, which he has his arms stretched out ready for her to fall, right? We never tell that little baby, I can't believe you fell again. We don't, because we know that if we were to do that kind of thing and tell them, oh, when are you going to get this right? I don't think you're going to get it, right? Eventually that baby's going to not want to try, right? Instead, what we do is we cheer them on for every good step they take. And when they fall, we tell them, it's okay, you got this. And research has shown that those who practice self-compassion in that way are more likely to achieve their goals. you don't have to stay stuck. Okay. In this cycle, you can break it when you get sidetracked, because this is the deal. You happen to be human and it's going to happen, right? And when you get sidetracked, what you decide to do after that is what's going to set you up for staying stuck or for moving forward. So right after that, getting sidetracked, if we can stop beating ourselves up and then learn from our mistakes, we can then start achieving our goals. So how do we do that? Okay, we know that by stopping the beating of ourselves up, we kind of interrupt that cycle. But how do we do that? Well, understanding what controls what we do sets us up to, number one, be kinder to ourselves, and number two, to take back control. Somehow we expect that if we know what to do, we're going to do what we know, because it's just a linear relationship. You know what to do, you're going to do it. Okay. That's what we expect. But that is actually false. It does not happen that way. So what is it that controls what we do? We actually have three control centers, okay? We have, at the bare minimum, our automatic control centers, which are automated behaviors, conditioned behaviors, things that just happen, right? So for example, when somebody hits your knee at the right spot, you're going to kick forward. That's an automatic behavior, okay? Then there's the emotional part, which is what controls our emotion. What we do is when we're emotionally moved to do something. Okay. So maybe you're sad and you cry. Okay. So you're emotionally moved to do something. And then there's the logical thinking brain. Okay. And the logical thinking brain can tell us what to do. However, there's three control centers. And of those three control centers, there's two levels of awareness. The logical thinking brain is the conscious part. The emotional and the automatic are the subconscious part. The emotional oftentimes is subconscious because, for example, maybe one time you were with friends and family that were wearing a yellow shirt and you happen to have been sick that day. And so now whenever you see a yellow shirt, you feel a little nauseous. You just don't like it. Okay. So that's subconscious. You don't even realize why you don't like it and why you don't feel comfortable around that yellow shirt, but it's an emotional programmed response. And this is the deal. 90% of what we do is subconscious. 90% of what we do happens below the surface of our awareness. So we set goals with our logical thinking brain, but we do the things with our subconscious emotions and automated behaviors. And when our behaviors are automated, sometimes they don't line up with our goal and they don't always serve our goal. So what happens is when we set a goal and we find ourselves in a situation where we're wanting to do something that goes against that goal. So let's say you've decided you want to lose weight and you realize that eating ice cream every night is not going to help you do that. And yet you have that emotional connection to the ice cream because the ice cream has been around when you have been sad, okay? And you've often reached for the ice cream when you feel sad, or you're used to sitting in front of the TV and eating ice cream. So when you decide, okay, I'm not going to eat the ice cream, your body is going to say, wait, that feels off. That feels weird. We need to eat some ice cream. And those things are going to go at odds. Okay. And white knuckling it is when your logical thinking brain starts trying to convince your subconscious when it's not even really aware of what's going subconsciously. And it tries to convince the subconscious with logic when they're not even speaking the same language. And so that doesn't work. And so willpower is not reliable because willpower is that decision and being able to cut through all the barriers. So willpower can help sometimes. The problem is that because it's not reliable, we need a plan B. And so what we need is actually skill power. So what are the skills that we need? So first of all, we need to become aware not only of the subconscious things that are happening, okay, the fact that what's controlling us is subconscious and become more aware of those things, but also of the conversations that happen inside our head and start rewriting that story and be kinder to ourselves, right? There is a disconnect in the process of us deciding on a goal and then getting to the goal. So our rational thinking brain decides it wants to achieve the goal. The rational thinking brain lays out a plan. Then there's a disconnect between the plan and what actually gets done because of those subconscious saboteurs, and the target is missed. And when you miss the target, then your mind starts giving meaning to that missed target. And when your mind starts giving meaning, that's when it starts being mean. When it starts giving meaning, it starts being mean, and you can bully yourself. So the skills that we need to develop is the skill to acknowledge the disconnect and stop bullying ourselves and suspend judgment. Be kind to ourselves. So when this happens, okay, let's say this happens to you. Now, I'm using ice cream because that is my drug of choice. Imagine your drug of choice there in the middle, whatever that might be. Maybe it's pizza, maybe it's chips, maybe whatever it is, okay, French fries. Whatever that is, what you want to become aware of is those thoughts that are going through your mind is that I'm not being kind to myself. I'm aware that I'm saying things like, or thinking things, whether you say it out loud or you say it in your head, it gives you the same effect. Okay. So becoming aware of those thoughts, especially when they are probably very automated now, okay, can be a little bit of a challenge. And so if you find yourself stuck, it's a good idea to sit down after you have eaten something or that did not line up with your goal, or done something that did not line up with your goal, and start writing down what are the thoughts that are going through your mind. And if you notice any of those thoughts, you can say, okay, wait. I'm aware now that I'm not being kind to myself. And I know that emotions and automated responses sabotage my efforts. And so therefore, it's not my lack of willpower. It's not me being weak. It's not a moral flaw. Okay. What we want to do then is to acknowledge that what controlled us was beyond our awareness at that time, right? And so then we can change the story. We can change it to, oh, I know that my emotions were driving the bus just now, okay? And I've always eaten ice cream when I'm upset, and I'm upset. So really it makes sense that I would do what I've always done, because that's what we do as human beings. And I am normal. I'm normal, and I'm capable of learning. I'd like for you to kind of sit with these words and share in the chat. If you were to tell yourself, I'm normal and I'm capable of learning versus I'm such a failure, does that change your motivation to continue trying? It does for me, right? So we talked about how we need skill power, right? So we need the skill to become aware of the conversations that go on in our head. We need the skill to rewrite the story, because now we're aware of what it is that's controlling us, that it's not a moral flaw and it's not weakness. It's just human nature, and that 90% of what we do is unconscious, subconscious. And then we have to develop the skill to learn from our mistakes. So I knew that the ice cream would not take me to my goals, and I ate the ice cream. So how can I learn from that? Well, the first thing is, like I said, we've got to suspend judgment, because we lose motivation when we beat ourselves up overdoing, making mistakes. But if you want to develop the skill set, there are 4 questions you can ask yourself. So what happened? I ate the ice cream. What did I want to have happen? Not eat the ice cream, move towards my goal. What was missing? So maybe what was missing was having a plan, right? Maybe what was missing was a way to navigate the emotions, awareness of my emotions at that time, right? Or maybe what was missing was accountability. Maybe what was missing was stepping away from the couch, because that's a programmed response. So what was missing? Kind of analyze that and then ask yourself, what's next? So the next time that I find myself having a pull toward the ice cream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk away from the couch. I'm going to go drink some water. I'm going to go take a bath, right? A hot bath. You're going to have a plan. Okay. So that now, instead of beating yourself up, you're using this opportunity to propel you to the next time to win. Okay. So we talked about a couple of skills today. We talked about the skill of becoming aware. We talked be aware of your emotions and the negative self-talk. the skill of rewriting the story and being kinder to ourselves, learning from our mistakes. The next skill is to know how to process emotions. And that is a little bit beyond what we have planned for today, because today we really wanted to help you release guilt and shame because those are toxic and those are the things that keep you stuck. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to continue this series next week where you're going to learn how to process your emotions by feeling it to heal it. So, we invite you, same time, same place, for the webinar next week. The registration link is on the screen. You can actually use your phone to scan the QR code, or you can save the bit.ly link, which is bit.ly/feel-it-registration. You're invited to join us for next week's webinar, where we're going to talk about how to process those emotions, which is another skill that we need to develop to keep us from being stuck. And lastly, I would love to invite you. We currently have a challenge going on. It's called the September Atomic Habits Challenge. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Atomic Habits book by James Clear, but we had the privilege of hearing him speak this summer. And his book is brilliant. It breaks down how do you develop habits so you can achieve your goals a little bit easier, right? And our challenge provides you a community of support and a way to reward your actions that will lead you to your goals. And you can either join for free and play for free just for the fun of it, or you can join for $20 and enter several drawings. We're going to be giving away over $10,000 in prizes in different ways, different drawings that in different activities, ways that you can earn points and so forth. So with that, I want to thank you so much for joining us today for this webinar. I would love to invite you to message the person that invited you today and let them know what was the biggest aha moment for you today. Because what we hope is that you're able to release any guilt and shame, that you're able to be a lot kinder to yourself so that you can now break through towards your goals. Have a great week.